All right, man. So I got my first box of stuff from bulkreefsupply.com, heretofore known as BRS. I want to talk through the stuff I picked up and why. I'm planning on getting a 400 liter tank from Red Sea, and given the number of water changes and the amount of water just to get the tank started, I decided to go ahead and buy a RODI system, which is these 6 canisters here, 1 on top and 2 on the sides, 3 on the bottom. RODI stands for reverse osmosis deionization, which is basically needed to take tap water and turn it into reef aquarium ready water. Instead of buying hundreds and hundreds of gallons, I figured I'd go ahead and just invest in the system to make my own water. This one makes 75 gallons per day. I wanted to go ahead and get some rocks curing. You gotta cure the rocks before you put them in the tank to make sure you don't bring any algae or foreign contaminants into the into the tank. I ended up selecting Reef Saver rock, which is over here. They package it in these dissolvable peanuts, but they kind of got everywhere in the process of unboxing. So here's what I ordered. I got 95 pounds of Reef Saver rock. You need to cultivate bacteria to live in the pores of the rock to process things like ammonia and nitrates. Otherwise, your fish will die. Got some pretty unique looking pieces, like this one. They're not all just bricks. They're all kind of different shapes. So, I know, kitty. So, I'm thinking we can make some pretty cool scapes. I think the tank will be roughly this size, probably a little narrower. It's, I think, 42 by 24 on its footprint. So I'm thinking we can make some pretty cool designs with this rock. They suggest approximately 1 pound per gallon, and 400 liters is about 110 gallons, but a portion of that will be non-display in the sump. Some of the other stuff I got, this Marine Pure biofilter media. This is basically just extremely porous. You can see the surface area on this is enormous. That's over a square mile of surface area in this one little block. And that's for the bacteria to live. So I'll hide this down in the sump where you don't see it to supplement the Reef Saver. Because the Reef Saver is not as... It's more dense than some of the other options like Pukani, which is really highly recommended, but apparently nobody sells. I don't know if there's a recall on it or if there's a supply shortage, but I could not find Pukani anywhere. So I'm happy with the way the Reef Saver looks. I think it's going to be fine. I'll just supplement with some of this biofilter media. I'm going to cure this with the rock, although I don't think you need to. It certainly won't hurt anything. So to cure the rock, you basically take a 55-gallon trash can, add some water and salt, and then circulate the water and heat it. So I'm going to circulate it with this little Voyager Nano. I wanted to buy a pump that I would also be able to use on the tank when I get to that point. I wanted to have a pump in the sump with the protein skimmer to keep things from settling on the bottom, to kind of help efficiency of the protein skimmer. So I bought this little guy here. 1,000 liters an hour. It looks like it's able to turn, which should be plenty for something like that. It's probably not going to go into the primary tank, but I think it's going to be fine for doing things like curing the rock and sump work. Also bought this Cobalt Aquatics 100-watt Neotherm heater. This thing is awesome. I saw a test that BRS did comparing a bunch of different heaters, and this one was by far the most consistent. The heaters tended to have a on-off cycle, which produced a saw-like graph when plotted against temperature. Some of them ranging upwards of 3 degrees, which is actually a lot of variation. This thing was dead solid at exactly what you set the temperature to. So I'm not sure if that's because it's using a different approach to heating, like maybe they just have a constant on with a lower voltage that's constantly fluctuating, as opposed to on off at maximum effectiveness. I've heard that this process can really stink. So I grabbed some of this Reef Spec Carbon. Supposedly comes with a filter bag. I have not found it. Hopefully it's inside. We'll just throw some of that in there and help keep the odor down. I also ordered a bucket of salt, which looks like it split in transit, so I got a bit of a mess here. I'm gonna need to transfer this to something else. Let's see what else. I'm planning on trying to hook up the RDI system tonight. I came with a bunch of hardware, and looks like a pretty minimal instruction manual, so we'll see how that goes. But I think that's about it for now. Catch you next time.